Okay, here we go. Disclaimer, this is not financial advice. This video is for informational and entertainment purposes only. The content presented in this video, including any opinions, news, research, analysis, prices, or other information, is provided as general market commentary and does not constitute financial advice, investment advice, trading advice, or any other sort of advice. I am not a financial advisor, and nothing discussed herein should be interpreted as a recommendation to buy, sell, or hold any security, financial product, or instrument. All right, let's start off with the Qs. Here's the hourly chart. As you see, we've broken out, and I still expect more upside. I expect us to break this RSI high. Whatever price is when it does that, that'll probably be it. And it could, it could break it and then keep going. So you never know. But between the 50 and the 200 here is about $7. So you add that to the current price, and that gets us to 625, which is this line right here, 625.30, 625.50. And I think that's a good target. That's a good target heading into Christmas, I think. We could easily pass it, and we could just keep climbing. I mean, we could climb up this. We could squeeze for quite a bit. My problem is that once we break this high, or this high, I think we're probably going to break that high. That's just my feeling. And I think we run into next year probably. But there's something bad approaching this when this is all said and done. Yeah, it's just, there's divergence on the weekly. You can see here, big divergence on the weekly. But we could break these and keep going. I just don't think so. I think we're approaching a drop really close. Somewhere January to April, I don't know, we get a drop, and a big drop, I think. But there are stocks that still need to finish running. And there's some stocks that have just started. So it's strange how this is going to work. Maybe it's just a tech drop. I have a feeling it's financial, because I think they want to reset the banking regulations. They want to deregulate the banks, and they need Congress to do that. So whatever happens, they're going to get Congress to deregulate the banks, because that frees up the system to do what it's set up to do, which is it's going to run hot for a while. They're going to pump a bunch of money into the system. They've set the national debt to run on short-term treasuries. They just need to, like I said, deregulate the banks so that the banks can buy more treasuries. they're limited to the treasuries they can buy right now. But as soon as they deregulate the banks, yeah, the market's going to take off. I don't know when that'll be, but I think that's what it's waiting for. And what you could be in here also is this could fail. I mean, you could fail now, but what you need to watch for is breaking this low at 600. There's a real strong support at 600. Breaking that would be a warning, and then breaking 580. That would show that you have more downside. But as it is, I think you're primed to go up for a while anyways. So your downside target would be 600, and your upside is for tomorrow or Monday anyways is going to be 625. All right, let's look at SPY. SPY is similar. You just broke out, it looks like. You've got resistance here at 683 that you're going to need to get past. Yeah, you've clearly broken out. Your downside is going to be 677 for tomorrow. And if you can break that 683, your upside is going to be 688 about. And this one again, to watch out for the downside, you need to get below 671 and then the 649.45. But you've got a huge support zone here. So you've got to start breaking through this. But then going up, you've got to, like I said, you've got to get above 683. But I think your upside is there. I think you're ready to continue up for a bit. But this again is, I think you're getting close to a point where you're going to draw back quite a bit. But we shall see. I don't like leaving the market if there's no reason to leave the market. And for me right now, there's no reason to leave the market. I mean, a black swan could happen, but they could always happen. You don't leave the market and get scared because something might happen. At least I don't. Yeah, here the daily, you're above the 5 MA, you're above the 50, and you're all pointing up. This looks good. You haven't broken out of the RSI yet, but you're looking good too. All right, let's go down some stocks. Going down the list. UPXI, UPXI. This is some kind of VIX instrument, I am guessing. No. Wow, sure looked like the VIX. Oh, this is hemp. Interesting. Okay. Gosh, that looks like it's just starting to turn around. This is probably going to have a huge whipsaw too. Although overall, I don't like this. I don't think. Let me see. Um, Boy, I don't know what to make of that. But I think this is going to turn around and fly. You've got massive divergence for a long time. People are really, people have been buying this up. Is that a 10% day? Wow. This this looks really good. Like it's about ready to really take off here. And these, I mean, this has been shorted for so long. It just had a 10% day, and that's barely made a dent. This thing could have some huge days coming up. Let's see. What happens when we get some Bollinger Bands on here? Where are we on this thing? Yeah. 245, then 320. I think this thing's going to try for $6. Let's see what. Oh yeah, this is. Has this broken out on the? It's broken this trend, so it's going to correct at least this. What is that? So it should retrace back to 480. $4 to 480. And then see what it does. But yeah, this could have a. It could correct this whole thing. It could bounce way up here to $10. But overall, I don't know what to make of this. I don't know if this is something you hold for a long time. It needs to start doing the inverse of this. It needs to take off. Like I said, get to the 4, 6, 8, 10 range real quick. Well, I don't think you're going to see these, but you might get into the teens on this. Yeah, that's. And then once it has a spike, then I don't know. I don't know what the future of this is. I don't know if it's bullish or not, but it should have a spike, a massive spike coming up. That's an interesting one. All right. ERII. Energy recovery. I had this. I played options on it, and I'm out of it. Let's take a look. Hmm. That looks like 5 down and 3 up. Oh, that's a big divergence. But I think you have one more drop, actually. I don't know why. Because this only looks like 3 up. So I think you're still correcting. So I think you're going to get another drop. Um, yeah. I think you're going to get another drop, and it's probably going to be. Yeah, I did that wrong. Well, you're probably going to go in here. $10. Probably $10 range. Drop this. Break this again. Yeah, to me, this looks like it's rolling over. Hopefully, you get a big drop like this. Something that just ends quick. Get it over with. But on that drop, I would be interested. Let's see, where are we? Where are we on the total drop? Yeah, it went all the way down to that 78. That should be a full retracement. Maybe this is. However, it's going to resolve out of here. It should go up after this. Let's see if this helps. See, it hasn't had its major spike yet. It hasn't had its major run yet. I think it may test here like 12 one time and then break out of this. But even this has a huge divergence on the weekly from here to here. That is definitely 3 up. I don't think this is a peak. I think this is your 5. I think this is like an A, B, C, A, B, C, A, B, C, A, B, C, A, B, C. This still seems like an ABC, especially since you peaked there. This still seems like an ABC, so you should have an A, B, C. I think you're going to come down here one more time. 10 to 12. But then once that whole mess is resolved, you should come out of here much higher, resolve much higher, however this ends. And I think it's going to end down in here. Maybe it shoots all the way down. I don't know. Maybe you get down to $8, and that would be a gift if you can shoot down that far. Because this is going to work its way up after all this. But right now it's just just a series of 3-wave moves. It's in no man's land for me. Okay, Tesla. Tesla's getting close for me this round. We're still looking good. My target is still 520 on this. Just need to break the 486. Actually, I have it at 488 on my computer. Your support's going to be 465, 464, 465, right in there. I mean, you can do whatever, the market can do whatever it wants, but I think it's going to push through here. Now, just because I think that it'll probably snap a quick drop and then launch out, but I think it's going to come out higher off of this. Like I said, my target is still 520. Boy, when you look at it like that, it looks great, doesn't it? Looks like it's setting up just above resistance. Yeah, this could make 520 look like nothing if it wants to. Tesla can do that. But yeah, that would be my support, 464, 465. And my upside is still 520. Now you ask about TSLL also, which is just a leveraged Tesla. So again, my bias would be up. And targets, your downside is going to be 2074. And your upside on this, looks like it's getting close to finishing a move. Probably not much higher, probably 25. And then it should drop back and then go again. So maybe that's what Tesla will do. Spike over the 500, drop down 480 or so, and then get ready to go higher. That sounds like something Tesla could do. Okay, APLD. Big run on Friday, sorry. I'm of the bias that these have bottomed. And are in for a massive, massive, massive run. If you look at this, this is a big cup higher on this end, dropped down for your handle, dropped below the 50%, just below it, spike up, down. I think that's your 1, 2, and I think you're getting ready for a 3 out of here. Look how you came out above that 5. Short term, you should tag about $30. And then that's where you see how serious you are. You've got to get above 35. And then eventually the 40-20 to really be bullish on this. But my bias is I think we're going to go. I think we're going to break out. You didn't have any divergence here, which is all right. It's not the end of the world. And this kind of looks like 5 down. So the worry is that this is 3 up. And then we're after, say this hits 30, it could shoot down again. And that would be about 16. So it could do something that looks, well, let me see if I can draw it like this. It could do something that looks like this. Oh, really? Could do something like that. Hit that 50 and then drop down. And that would be hitting this line and then dropping down again and then breaking out. Which that makes more sense. I mean, structurally. But again, you're above the 5 MA, the 50s above the 200. If you're in this, I mean, I wouldn't start a position here, definitely not. But if you're in this from down here, there's no reason to get out. I mean, you can sell calls. That's what I would do. But yeah, I wouldn't be leaving the stock. All right. LAR. Is this the one I think it is? Okay, this is lithium, Argentina. It's Argentina, it's lithium. Both of those are bullish sectors. I like this. But again, is this breaking out or no? See, we're not quite breaking out, but we're above the 5. How do we look on the weekly? Yeah, I think this is just going to keep. I mean, that's clearly squeezing up. Yeah, let's see what you do when you hit 575. See if you drop down or if you start pushing these Bollingers up. Yeah, 575 is where you're going to see what that wants to do. NAC. This is minor, Canadian minor. This looks like we're getting ready to have a big move soon. I say that because the Bollingers are, I'm doing the air quotes, pinching. Your bottom one's moving up. Your upper one's moving down. Your mid is moving up. You're above the 5 MA. Let's see if there's a good example of that here. Should be something similar to this, where you bounce up. 2. I think this is 3 down. Again, you have your cup. You have your handle. And now you're moving. See right where you're at? Isn't that interesting? You're right at this cluster. So I think if you break this, you're going to really take off. Oh, yeah, look at those Bollingers. I mean, on the weekly, this isn't even close. This is, yeah. I think NAC is about to see some good sessions. I think it's about to start climbing out of here. I think we might start seeing our $5 NAC soon. Your support is going to be in this range, $2. Yeah, see it bounced at that 2, and it looks like it just wants to take off. 2 is going to be your support. Resistance is as high as this wants to go. I have this at $12 in the future. Take from that what you will. Okay, RXRX. Is this building or is it getting ready to fail again? Tough to tell. You do have a long bullish divergence. You had a good. This is a good C wave here. You should at least get higher, and maybe just 521 is the end of it. but you'd like to really spike up out of here. I don't know. Like I said, this is not a stock that I like. I don't like this chart overall because it keeps breaking lows. That didn't hold. Then that didn't hold. So let's see if this holds. It has to stay above 379. So 380. Gotta stay 380. And it's got to get above 711. So it's range bound until it does one of either of those. Get above 711 or below 380, 379. And if it gets below 379, then it's just going to keep grinding lower like this. It'll just do something like that. If it can break above 711, then we could get a spike and then have to see what it does after that. But this is not a stock that I would leave this alone if I didn't have to. But yeah, until it does one of those things, break down or break out. Okay, on to a biopharma I do like, AUPH. That is a fantastic chart. Look at the difference between those two. This is great. This is crap. Great. Crap. Learn the difference. And this could spike because it's heavily shorted and it's heavily shorted for a reason. So it could spike and have a fantastic day, but it could also go bankrupt and go to zero. Whereas this is how you build a monster. This is fantastic how it's climbing out of here. They just turned profitable. They're a huge buyout target. I mean, everything looks up here, especially the chart. That looks great. This look how we're turning up here. Moving averages are turning up. What do we have on the weekly? Just starting to turn up, and we should break this RSI high. That's what's going to be fun. I mean, look how high that is above where we're at. And we are just starting to break out of this trend line. And look where all this congestion is that we're breaking out of. I think we're going to see the 20s, 21, 22 very soon. And then after that, we're going to be greeting the 30s. And then who knows? Because this has the possibility of being something huge. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm going to do this and then show you something after I zoom out. Okay, my target would be $55, $58, somewhere in there. But look at this. Look at how this came down. See, this is that chart that I love. This is the look. Bounce, bounce, and then buy. Just take off. So I fully expect this. This is a monthly chart too. Man, this thing is, I think this is going to start screaming. Above the 5MA. See this, I think this is going to start squeezing again. All we got to do is pop above that. Yep, I have no desire to leave this stock. This is one of my faves. Downside, 15 on a daily basis. I mean, if it really wants to drop, it could go down to 1192. And if it did that, you would hear me screaming from my mountain. You'd hear it echoing down the canyons. I mean, I'd be so happy. I'd be buying like crazy. Unless something was seriously wrong with the company. But at that point, it should slice that and just start falling. But that's nowhere in the charts. Okay. Away from Orfina onto oil, Indo. This is interesting because I think oil's going to drop. I think oil's going to drop to about 47. But I don't think Indo is. I think Indo wants to go up. And again, overall, I think we need to hold this low of 210. But this is just, this is dying to break out and run. I don't know what the catalyst will be. This is one that I've always said, one day you'll just wake up and it'll be up 30%. It was the other day, but not many people got to sell it. It's just that stock that I buy and tuck away and I don't think about it. When it's low, when it's in the low twos or has a big red day, I'll just buy and then just sit on it, sit and wait. Because this thing is, I mean, one day, this is just going to be huge. And yeah, I have a crazy price target on it because it's, to me, this is like the VIX. This is when things go wrong and China has to buy all their oil from Indonesia. Then this thing spikes. This is like the world fear gauge. And I don't know why, but it's kind of funny. But yeah, Indonesian energy for whatever reason. You can hardly see that, but look how we're pinching down and squeezing. It looks like it wants to go up, but it's got to break above 320 to get out and run. It has that look like it wants to. It has that look. Look at that. If you were to draw a line here, I'll draw a line. That was not, this was that 30% day just a few days ago. That was not an anomaly. That was an accident by the market. That was a whoops. Stuff it back in. Stuff it back in. And they're about to have a whoops again. And this thing is, yeah. Again, I wouldn't know. Daily targets could be anything, but as long as you stay above, wait, geez, as long as you stay above 2 or 210, this is fantastic. I mean, it's going to have a huge monster day, week, hour, who knows, but it's going to have a monster spike at some point in the future, maybe the near future. Okay, SOUN Hound AI. That looks like it's getting ready to run again. I think this is in my new tech. Whoops. It'd be nice if I knew how to work this right. Well, it goes in new tech now. Okay. Getting above that 5 MA. 50s above the 200. Let's see if we can get above the mid Bollinger at 1175 first. But this looks like the rest of new tech that wants to run the quantums and all that. Here would be your first resistance. That's 1175. Amazing how that works out. Yeah, you need to get above that 1175. Get above that, and then we're talking. But yeah, this looks like it's definitely going to spike up there. Once it gets there, then that's when this makes a decision on its future near term. Overall, that looks good. The worry would be that you're in a yeah, that would be a worry. That this is just a B, and then you have a C coming down out of here. So what I think you'll probably do is spike up to that range that I said, $11.75, $12, somewhere in there. Maybe you even go higher. And then I think you're going to shoot down again. What's this distance here? About 220. I actually think you shoot down farther than that. But no, that should hold. Yeah, I think you shoot down to the 7.8, but this could really get carried away. I mean, you could go down to $4.95. But I would expect after a spike that this has another leg lower. And that is my hunch. Okay, AMPY, AMPY, amplify energy. Well, looks like you should run to that 200 MA, at least right now. So you should run to just above $5. This this 3. I mean, unless you're just a 1, 2, and then you should have had divergence on this though. Yeah, maybe kind of. Okay, so the hope is that this holds. That this holds and you get higher than 745. Because then you could set this as a bottom on amplify energy. But you'd have to get above that 745. If not, I think this is set up for another drop. Oh, look at that. It even has a bearish moo signal. See how you've turned up though? I think you're going to get a spike to at least $5. After that, then you'll have to see what's up. Okay. VALE. Brazil, steel, energy, shipping, you name it, they do it. Looks like we should get a drop coming up. See how the Bollingers are pinching on this, but you're not above you're straddling the 5 and you're below the mid Bollinger. That's set up to shoot you down. Your first stop would be around $12, $12.15. But I think you're going to come retest this trend line here at about $11. That would be my guess here. I sold calls on VALE on Friday. Friday? Yeah. I think that was when I sold the last of them. Yeah, you're just straddling here. I think you're going to drop down. You could spike up. Could spike up to $12, $13. A, B, C. Maybe this spikes up, but I don't think so. I think you want to roll over here. I think this really wants to roll over. But on a longer term, this is very bullish. I mean, look at it, just broke that long trend line. And I thought I had this one over. All right. See if we can do this. Yeah, you're above that. And now you're just breaking this triangle. This thing is going to fly. And look at this setup. Look at this setup. Bounce, bounce, and now, oh man, this is completely going to rip. 25.15 is my next target when we really start going out of this. And just look at this whole thing. This is going to spike out of here and it's going to break this RSI eventually. I mean, this thing is going to be huge. This is going to be a 3x easy from here, would be my guess. That is just coiled up. But near term, this might drop and you might get a gift. All right, cliff. Similar sector. Cliff should be going up. It needs to get above 1440. But once it gets there, once it closes this gap, yeah, this should have been the bottom. So we should be going up. Cliff should be going up. Breaking out. Breaking out. Or are we on the hourly? Rising up. Yeah, Cliff looks ready to go. And here's another one on the monthly chart. Here's the trend line from the monthly going down. That's it right here. Right here. See how we're above that now? We're breaking out from the monthly trend. The life of this stock, it's finally breaking out of that trend line. And I'm going to show you a stock. I've shown it many, many times, but it just did that. The life of this stock just broke out of its trend line last month. No, it was a couple months ago. But yeah, look at that. Look what it did. This is Hecla mining, by the way. See what happens when they start breaking long trend lines? And now we've got Cliff just starting to break it. And that's it right there. Broke it, retested it. It gapped down and retested it even. And now we're starting to come out. Starting to come out from this. And when we come out, and I think when we break, look at that 16. We're at 13. Man, this thing, every time I think it's still around $10, $11, I don't really pay too close attention to it. When it's really red, I buy it. But yeah, once we get above that 14, should pop to 16, and then I want to see us out of this 18. I think we hit, to be honest, I think we hit 18 to 20 still this year. I think it really gets up there. I think it pulls a Hecla. All right, let's look at some lithium here. SGML. Daily starting to push the Bollinger up. See how it broke out of the Bollinger and then sold back down? That's what you want to see, but that should start moving that Bollinger up. This should start turning them. This, look how it's about to break out. Now it could drop, but I don't think so. I think it's gonna push out of here. Could drop and fill that gap, but I don't know. That definitely looks like it wants to drop. 1160 would be my support range for that. 1150. But my target is much higher for this. And I think lithium is just getting ready to run again. Look at, and then it's just starting to poke out. Yeah, I think this is going to start really running again. 18 is my upside target for that. Near term. Because longer term, much, much higher. Much, much higher. LAC, Lithium America, above the 5MA. This looks like it's turning up. I don't think that was a peak. I think this was your 5. I think this is an A, B, maybe C. You'll know if this spikes out of here, because this could be doing the 1, 2, and then curl out of here and take off. Or it could drop down, close portion of that gap to 380, and then take off. Hourly, yeah, that should get up to 5. And if it's going to go to 5, I think that's going to turn you bullish here. And I think you are probably going to start moving up again. So yeah, I would say that's a tentative bottom. Bullish above 441, 440. ATLX. This one has been lagging for a while. This looks very similar, but that's your bottom. And that's actually a 5. 1, 2, A, B. And is this done? There's your A, B, 3, 4, 5. I think this is probably done here. Yeah, you had 360 there and 370 there. Yeah, I think you're done, and you're probably going to turn around for ATLX. Yeah, look how you're setting up on that. I think this is getting ready to pop. I think lithium's getting ready to move. I think lithium's getting ready to move. This looks good. Let's see on the short time frame. Yeah, look, I think you're going to get a big pop. I think you could get 440, 450 Monday. We'll have to see how that goes Monday. That looks good though. Okay, NUAI. That looks good. What is this? New Era Energy. Oil and natural gas. Did that say where? Texas. That's where they're headquartered. One, two, 1, 2. That's got the good look. That's got the look of a good chart that I like. Should look for it to swing up out of here. Some of these small oil and gas look really good. That looks good. Like to get it above that mid Bollinger. That's strange because I have oil dropping. But that looks good as long as it gets above 405. If it can't get above 405, then I would think it's going to drop all the way to 168. That sounds about right. But yeah, that came up in 5. But yeah, ABC. You might be done here. This might be ready to come out of here. Just have to hold that 285. All right. Wendy's. I'm pretty sure this is Wendy's. Yep. Let's check on the attendees. Oh, that looks like it's about ready to turn, doesn't it? Doesn't it? And if it does, it should go to that 200 at about 1080. So a couple dollars. Let's get rid of these Bollingers here. Yeah, I think this is getting ready. I think this is getting ready to run here. I think it's, let's see. Yes. Yeah, I think Wendy's is getting ready to pop. Above the 5 weekly. I bet you have divergence here too. You do. Look how tight that is. Look at that bullish divergence on the weekly. Yeah, I think Wendy's is finally going to pop. They just needed to bring back the tendies, I guess. Yeah, that looks really good. Of course, your stop is 483 because then it's probably just going to keep drifting. And you'd want to get above 1012. If you can't get above 1012, then it's probably going to fail. But yeah, we'll throw that on plays this week, eh? Okay, BBAI, Big Bear. He's rough and tough. He's Big Bear. I still think that's the bottom. I think that's the bottom here. That spiked pretty high, getting you to the 200. What I would like, and it sure doesn't look like it's going to drop here, though. It looks like it's going to push through that 200 and start flying. That's what it looks like. I'm wondering if they're going to take advantage of all the short positions over this Christmas holiday. Just push price up and have the algorithms automatically start covering. That would be awesome. But it'd be more healthy if this were to drop to 580 and then climb up. It sure doesn't look like it wants to do that, though. No, this looks like it wants to squeeze up. And that would be 715, 720 as my target there. Downside is here, you got to hold that low of 540, 542. All right, B-bar. Argentina banks. Looking great. Looking great, looking great, looking great. Popped out just as I'd hoped. And then it stalled. Probably going to get a retest here. And then I think we're off into the 20s. 21, 22 is where I had us. This has 23. I'd like that. But yep, just fooling around here and then pop up again. 1730 is your support, and then your resistance going to be in that 21 range. 2150, 22. B-bar looks good to go up. It's amazing how many stocks look good to go up, huh? Qubits. Qubits. I was buying qubits. There are a lot of people that think these are going to drop again. I don't know about that. I think this is getting ready to break this trend line and pop out. Really, really take off running. I think we could have a massive day here Monday. Big day. This is 25.20. That's only $1. But then it should push up more. What is this? 28.29. Yeah, that's about right. I'd like to see that 28.29 Monday. Again, we should run higher than this RSI. And eventually, soon, I would like to get above 38. But qubits, I think this is an A, B. I think this is your C. I think it ended here. I think we are ready to rock and roll again. See how we broke out of that daily? We're above the 5 MA. Ready to rock and roll. Rock and or roll. Breaking out. Yeah. This looks pretty good. I mean, we could have a little drop here. I wouldn't even mind a big drop down to 26. I don't think it'll do that and hold this R. Well, it will and hold that RSI, I think. But I think it might drop down to 26.20 more reasonably. But the upside is very good. Very good upside. Oh, I don't have my target on there? Oh, it already met that target. Oh, look how close I was. Pretty close. All right. Let's trash that. Let's get a new target. About $73 this run, be my guess. All right, let's check out another Q. Qubit. QUBT. Quantum computing. Different, but similar. Turning up on that 5 MA. I think this is probably your bottom. Need to get out of 1350 and you need to hold above 950. Otherwise, you're going to come down into this $6 range. But again, I think this is turning up. Five. And it might, you might just get a spike out of this to like 17 and then a drop again. Because I'm not sure if this is 3 or 5. I think it's probably 5. So if you get another spike and another drop, that's very possible. Qubits is a better chart than this, but this looks like it's just turning around also. But yeah, it's got to get above 14. We'll call it $14 there. All right, RR. Rich Tech. I think this is coming out. I've been buying this. pretty sure this is 5. 1, 2. I think that's 5. So I think this is a 1, 2 actually. And this is just a series of 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is 1, 2, 3, but that's not a 4. So I think this is a wow. Yeah, that would make sense. I think this is a 1, 2, 1, 2. And you're about to have a massive, massive run in this. But it's gotta start turning above this. And it's gotta hold 340. And definitely 298. Otherwise it's gonna slide down here below $2. But if it can turn around, then this has a large runway. Look at all that shorting that they did real quickly right in there. And then just hammered it down. And now we're clawing out of all those shorts. And they just shorted it again. So we should, with a new round of shorts, we should start popping out of here. Hourly looks good. First resistance is going to be that $4. I think this just broke out. Yep, got to hold above that 281. But yeah, this looks good. Oracle, ORCL. Not a fan of Oracle, but some are. Should bounce up to at least, what is this going to be here? 199, 200. 200 was my call on Friday for the first resistance. And I think this had I had a total bounce on this of like to 220. I think it was. And that's 213. There's 229. Yeah, I think I had a bounce to about 220. Because again, this looks like 5 waves. So you're probably going to have a bounce. And this is just starting to break out. It looks like, yeah, bullish divergence. You're just about to break that trend line. So I think you're going to get a bounce and probably to the 220, 230, maybe as much as 240. What's this? That's 220. Yeah, I think you're going to go probably right about in there and then get shorted down again. But I think this comes out of here with a 3-wave move. Let's see if I can actually do it this time. This time for sure. 3 waves. So if you come out of here like 1, 2, 3, maybe you go as high as 270, but then I'd look for that to get smacked down again, and you'd fall all the way down here to the 120, which is my ultimate target for this. But yeah, I think you definitely have a bounce in this for sure. After that, I would be very worried. NVIDIA. Oops. Yep, this looks like it's going up to at least 186, 187. Look how you're turning up. Christmas rally. But how high do you go? I don't know. And that could be an ABC, but this looks like 3 up, and this looks like 3 down. 3. Did you peak RSI there? Yep. 2, 3. 1, 2. See, that's 3 up. So this is your A, B, C. This was... I think this is only ABC, ABC. So I think you're going to get an ABC, probably spike up pretty high, and then I think you're probably going to get a failure. Although that looks like a good descending wedge. I mean, you should pop out of here. You should get to 200, I would think. Right around 200. After that, you're going to have to see what it wants to do. Again, I'm not a fan of NVIDIA. I mean, I don't care about the company so much, but I'm not a fan of this chart. That's just way up there. Way, way up there. But it does look like it's going to spike again and go. Turning up on the weekly. Yeah, and you could break higher than all these RSI, and then that would just start the whole thing over once it reset again. So that would just mean that the next, if this RSI went higher, that would just mean at the next big drop or crash, or call it whatever you want, that you should just buy more. That's all that means. But yeah, NVIDIA looks good. It looks like it wants to run for a bit, which is good for the Santa rally. Looks like Santa rally is on the table. I always thought it was. Because I'm bullish for 2026. Maybe not at the beginning of the year or mid-year, Q2, I don't know. There's going to be a drop some point during the year. And probably a nasty one. But then once they redo the banking sector, deregulate it, we should be off and running again. Crawl. Now you do have a bullish divergence, and again, it's only 3 up, but you should hit that 35, 36 range. Um, uh, hmm. I don't like that you're below everything here, that you shot down out of the triangle. You are above the 5, which makes me think you're probably going to get a bounce here. But then I would you're probably going to retest this triangle. I don't know, maybe as high as 38. And then I think you're probably going to fail again. Come down, probably close this gap. 23, somewhere in there. That would be my guess, but got to stay above 31.14. And then, yeah, your first resistance is going to be 35.84. No, I don't know what to. Yeah, that's not a great chart. You've kind of got a head and shoulders here too, and you've broken that neckline, so that should open you for more downside. But like I said, I think they're probably going to fool a lot of people and get a bounce before they finish that downside. All right, IREN. I also have a bunch of IREN. Been buying IREN. No divergence, but that is a falling wedge. This is your peak. That's your 5. And this is an A. That's 3 up for your B. And then this should be 5. This should end it there. And yeah, you're right in. You went right to that 61.8. That's why I'm so convinced that this is a bottom, just because of where it ran to. Although it would make a ton of sense for it to go all the way back here to $19, $20. That'd make a ton of sense. This is just mathematically where it looks nice. I guess that's the only way I can put that. So yeah, I have no desire to exit this. I think probably $52, $53. Although I have my short-term target at 42. That's where we need to get above. And that'll probably come in on the hourly. Yeah, 42 is this cluster, getting above that. Getting above that 200 would be key, and you have the 50 turning up. Almost a $5 move, eh? Get you right into that 45 cluster. That would be perfect. How much room do we have on RSI? Oh, we've got plenty of room. Where are we at? 74? Yeah, we can really take this up. Just starting to break out. I thought we broke out of that trend line back there, but then on the retest, we broke down from it. Yeah, breaking out. I think we should be good to go higher here in IREN. Let's get past that 45 cluster. Okay, HIMZ. Is it really that low? Wow. I think this is about ready to run again too. Look at that. Look how that's turning up. holding that level. This, yeah, I think you're going to get a pop to the $9-10 range. That's probably where it IPO'd, my guess. But yeah, that looks good to really turn up too. And this has the look that I like. Bounce, bounce, really drag it out, and then this needs to start ripping up. But that, I mean, it looks like it's going to, doesn't it? On the hourly, yeah, I think that broke out. I would be willing to bet if I drew a line across there that has broken out. Yep. Yeah, first $8, and then let's really try to rip it up from there. Huh. Let's just look at something right quick. Wide gaps. But let's look. Look how low that is on. That's an hourly. Let's get a daily. Yeah, look how low you are on those options. Huh. All right. Oh, that's a. What am I looking at here? Daily chart. Yeah, that looks like this is really going to coil up. 1150. Yeah, this looks like it's ready for a spike. I might have to move that one. Oh, I don't have that. Oh, this it's HIMZ. This is that makes sense. This is the bowl of hymns with an S. I was like, how do I not have that? Okay, that makes sense. I'm just a little brain dead. Let's look at the parent and not the leverage. There. This is better. Better. Similar chart. Looks the same. Everything the same. But now I can do this. All right. That seems okay. Now we're talking. Look at that. You even have bullish divergence on the options chart. That is hilarious. Tag you very much. Okay. HIMZ is on the table. Under Armour. I have a feeling about Under Armour too. I think Under Armour is getting ready to run. Look at that turning up. Look at that turning up. Yeah, I've been buying Under Armour too. That looks good. Looks very good. Look at it condensing here. I think we're going to have a big day. I think we're going to have a big day coming up here. Big day. Big day. Above the 5. I think we get a spike, and then I think we come down, and then I think we run again. See, we're starting to break this long trend. weekly are spiking down. Yeah, I think you're getting ready to run here very soon. Very soon. And now let's take another look at something right quick. Look at that. Look how deep down that is. All right. Okay, let's go into some nuclear stocks. UEC, uranium. Uranium really has me confused. I think it needs another drop. See how I just tagged the 50? I think it's going to drop again. And I think it's going to that 917 range. This is just not a convincing, that's not convincing to me. This is 5 up. So it could come all the way. Well, you could count it as 3 too if you did 1, 2, 3, 4, but that would be 5. Yeah, you could do that. Anyways, I don't trust uranium right now, how it's moving, how it looks. I own a lot of uranium stocks and options, leaps. And so I have no desire to do anything with them. I've been selling covered calls on them. Because this looks like it's going to spike up, but I don't know if it'll break that. But in the future, this is going to be where it's at. This is the energy of the future. See, I don't like that, how we're below that. See, we could come down here into the 830. I think they want to take a lot of the steam out of this. It's holding that. I just don't trust these charts. This is an absolutely bullish stock, but is it bullish now? I don't think so. I think it needs that other drop. DNN. This is one of my favorites. See, and this has the look at how that turned up. To me, this looks bullish. This looks very different than that other chart, though. This looks like it wants to run. And this is very clearly 3 waves. And it could just, well, what is it here? Let's see. And then let's take that. Hey, I want to grab that thing. Move it over there. Yeah, it could run to 325 right in there and then come all the way back down into here, 210, 215. That seems like, and then do this. Hey. It's not gonna, there we go. That's the best it'll do. Now I can move it. There. All that just to show that. That's kind of what I think this is going to do. But again, I have no desire to sell my uranium. Not at all. UROY. Now, this is a uranium royalty company, meaning they own property mines that uranium miners lease to. And they own different land rights that explorers and others lease from them. And this has the same look too. Again, this is your 5. This is an A, B, or an A, B, and then this is some kind of C. A, B, yeah. Because these are funky and because they had higher highs after the 5s, I don't think they bottomed right. Although this kind of looks like an inverse head and shoulders. Jeez, this looks like it could just take off because it's hanging out above long support. Maybe this is another one where it's just the miners, or maybe just UEC that doesn't look good, because that looks really good on the weekly. It sold into the zone where it should have held. This looks like it could continue running. This looks good too. Now, now let me go this way. Now we're into the hypers. I just want to go through real quick, look at the daily charts. NNE, that's above the 5. Again, this is the same kind of chart. Here's your A, B, C, but then you have this. This is where I was buying, and I thought that should have held, but then it failed. Got out of it when it failed. I shouldn't say got out of it. I didn't sell my stocks. I started selling covered calls against it. But then I started buying here again. This looks like it wants to turn up, but this is, again, I don't trust these. It's staying right in that range. NNE is in that range where I was buying. OKLO got into that, almost that range where I was buying. 70, I said. I didn't buy any OKLO though. I didn't buy any LTBR either, because this needs to get above 1466 and stay there. It needs to close above that. Although it looks like it's trying to break out. These are just weird stocks. And SMR is another one I've been buying like crazy. Here's my long trend line. This is my Livermore cylinder line. It's below the 5MA. This looks like they really want to just push it down. You had the cross there, so that, contrary to popular belief, that's more of a sign to buy than to sell. I mean, look right here. Look, if you'd have sold here, you'd have been a fool. But yeah, this is in my range to buy. Okay. They asked for LTBR specifically. Here's another Livermore cylinder, by the way. Right on that. Right on that line. Like I said, LTBR needs to get above 1466 and stay there. And there's that line. It's just been bouncing off of it. Again, a breakout. And I also said the 3 and 4% days for these uranium stocks isn't going to cut it. You need these 9% days, these 14% days. 7's not bad. But this is garbage. New Scale and Lightbridge. To be honest, I didn't know Nano or Centrus had that good of a day. That should have made me a buyer of these. I mean, I bought SMR, but I didn't buy Lightbridge. Normally, if these have big days and one lags, I'll buy the one that was lagging. But I'd still like to see, and maybe these are set up. Are these set up for a 10% day Monday? Yeah, it kind of is. Look at that big quick sell. It could power up. What about OKLO? OKLO is too. 93. Interesting. I think we could have a huge day here Monday. Yeah, I may have made a mistake. Perhaps instead of yelling at Lightbridge to get over 1466, I should have been buying it. This one, I was just buying anyways, just out of fine. You're going to sell it below here. Fine. Interesting. If this gets really bad, though, I mean, they could sell it all the way down to 14 if they wanted to. Okay, let's look at some crypto real quick. People asking for crypto. Crypto for me is a bit different because I've found that I have no success short term charting it. I think there's too many whales that control it. So I have no desire to be quickly trading these. On the long trends, I'm fine and do quite well. But I have, yeah. So just be warned, I have no faith in any short term calls on crypto. But this looks like it totally wants to go up. It's held my trend line, and this has always been what I said with Bitcoin. As long as it holds this trend line, I'm not doing anything with it. Really. If it breaks this, then I'll make a decision then. But as long as it holds this, it's bullish to me. And I think we're probably going to get a spike up to, what is that? That's probably a good one. 108,000 almost. So again, that would be good Christmas rally. Let's see if I can see anything that shows above the 5. Getting wick down, about to get above that 200. Yeah, this looks good. Bitcoin looks all right. Let's look at Ether. I think I had Ethereum on a, yeah, that looks good too. Yeah, I had it on a run back up to about 3,500. I didn't know it hit 3,500 earlier in December. Huh. Interesting. That's a clear 3 waves. So it'll probably get 3 back up. One, two. Yeah, that would put it at 3,400. Oh, we're above 3,000 already? All right. Go Ethereum. All right. Uniswap. This is one I have. This one came off this. It came off this so hard. I think this is getting ready to fly. And I don't know why Uniswap over the others. Why this one looks so much better. But it just does. Big bounce and then rip. Yeah, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 3. This should be your 4, and you should come up again out of here. But this looks, yeah, Uniswap looks like good to start running again, up to about $7.98. That looks like a good one for now. HBAR. Whoops. This is another one I own. All right. Got to break that trend. Got to start pushing up. Okay. Yeah, I'm not bearish on any of this crypto unless Bitcoin breaks that trend line. Let's see this one for funsies. Doge. Looks pretty good. Doge looks pretty good. Came off, leveled off. That's actually like a really long 4. It looks like 1, 2, 3. This is probably a really long 4. And then spike up out of here. And then come back and retest it. And then spike up for big time. I like that. Crypto looks like it's climbing out. Should cross that. We should get a pretty big spike out of crypto, it looks like. All right, I'll do one more. Let's do Ripple. Ripple looks good. Look, Ripple looks really good there. That looks really good. Same chart as all the others. Looks good except for Uniswap, which has already made this turn and started ripping. These are just lagging, it looks like. All right. Futures are open. Let's take a look at where they started off. Gold coming up. Wow. Silver 1.5%. Look at that. Go silver. Palladium. There we go. Platinum. Yep. That's where it's at. the P metals, platinum and palladium. And the miner for those is this guy who looks like he's ready to start kicking names to the wind too. All right. Excellent. Platinum and palladium doing exactly what you're supposed to be doing. Kicking ass and taking names. Okay, take me home. Markets. Hey, look at that. Let's gap and go. Gap and go, gap and go. Ah, yes. Gaps that open make me happy. All right. I'll see everybody closer to open. Have a great day and good luck.